a fighting game, for Smash, let's play slow. And then watch their attacks to get their combination down. And eventually, they'll throw in some of their favorite moves and then go after them once you have it all memorized.
Oh, yeah.
And go from there. So that was my mindset, and that was what I taught them. And that's what I say these two players here between Lipden and ThePied can go in here. And I say slowly watch what they like to do, what the opponent likes to do, and then attack once you get further into the match.
I believe as well as you do, that the more patient player, the one that waits and listens, is going to be the one that is able to find an earlier lead.
Exactly. And like you said, listens, because sometimes in fighting games, you hear the sound that your player is making. Sometimes that sound can give off what's coming. If it's going to be high kick, low kick, or even a grapple or something like that, or grab and try to throw attack. Sometimes there is sound associated with the movement.
That's true. That is true. Right now, though, the only sound that we heard was Jigglypuff being sent to the blast zone as ThePied goes down a stock, and Lipden has a little bit of a lead with the Wario versus Jigglypuff matchup.
Yeah, Jigglypuff is a character that I say that's the one character I'm confused about.
Yeah?
I've tried Jigglypuff. I'm an equal opportunity gamer. I'll play with every character, give him a shot. That is one character I will not go back to because I couldn't figure out what was Jigglypuff's attacks.
What's the thing?
Where did Jigglypuff deal damage? I didn't get it. I knew you try to put him to sleep, and I'm like, okay, that only works for so long.
Yes.
Okay, but where's the damage attack so I can throw and get in there? Good at I say recovery of jumping off platform, but anything like that, you could probably help me with that, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jigglypuff being a mainstay in Smash since the earlier days and being one of the best characters in Super Smash Bros. Melee, the game plan isn't about combos super heavily. It's not about playing on the ground and using your grounded options. It's about, like you said, those jumps being good for recovery. They're also good for just staying in the air, floating in and out, and baiting your opponent out. Right now, though, as far as like baiting your opponent out,
it didn't happen.
Not for ThePied this time. Lipden was the one that was able to take the read, listen more, pay attention more, and eventually come out ahead.
Yeah, and then Wario being a big in the game, so with the big characters, I say what I like to do with big characters, and what I told my players in Smash, or what they already probably knew, was stay away. Because the bigs can grab.
Yes.
Then they could throw you in the DK could throw you in the ground and plant you in the ground along with other bigs, and then deal more damage when he has his temper tantrum. So you don't want to get caught in that scenario. So if anything, when you're playing against a big like and you have Jigglypuff, like is it Pied that has Jigglypuff?
ThePied has Jigglypuff.
Okay.
No.
Or Lipden.
You know what? We'll find out soon.
Yeah, we'll find out. But either way, stay away.
Yes.
Because if you get in close contact, you got between grab, damage, and other combos that Wario could put on you, and it could, like I said, cause more damage to get you to losing the match. Like we saw, was real fun, real quick and fast in terms of getting out of that first match.
Oh, for sure. And the one thing that makes Jigglypuff very strong, like we were talking about, she has this aerial acceleration and speed. She can drift in and out very easily, and she has a bunch of jumps. So that's what makes her really ambiguous. But here's the thing: Wario doesn't have a bunch of jumps, has the same aerial speed and acceleration, can also drift in, can follow you, can bait you out, has a lot of that same advantage in terms of the stats, the base stats of the movement that Jigglypuff has. So one of the big things that makes Jigglypuff really good is already neutralized by Wario's statistics. And Wario has a bunch of other stuff, great grounded options, a bike. I mean,
the
lot
bike
of
comes
options.
out. Get out the way if you can. But I like what you said about Jigglypuff. I would definitely give Jigglypuff another try because I am a jump person.
Okay.
When I'm in some of the other fighting games that you see here, like Tekken or Street Fighter, I like to go aerial just to kind of see how good somebody's defense is against that.
Yep.
But sometimes they don't pay attention to it or they do react properly. But when they don't react properly, I'm going to make sure I either deal damage or just add it to my movements. Because, you don't have to always be attack mode.
No.
But if you have certain movements, you got them thinking that you're almost like pump faking.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You're pump faking. You're like, oh, I'm a jump in the air, but I'm not doing nothing but getting you to react so I could get another part to get where I could give damage to you. So that's where with Jigglypuff, hearing that, manipulate that, get good at it, maybe add to my repertoire. We'll see.
It's the bait and punish play style that fighting games, some fighting game archetypes are known for. But you said you're a big download person, the download demon as they called you.
Yes,
but,
yes.
I would say that if you legitimately want to, learn these characters, watch a video of a top level player playing that character just so you can kind of get an idea of how they're moving, what moves they're using. Hungry Box is the Jigglypuff, the greatest Jigglypuff player of all time in Melee.
Yes.
And he also plays some Ultimate, and he's a fantastic content creator to watch and enjoy while you're watching, while also learning. So
100%.
that would be somebody I'd recommend to watch for that. For Rob, of course, there's like Zomba, Anathema. There's a lot of really great Rob players out there.
Yep.
There's a player for every character in the game at top level, and if you just watch a video of what they're doing, you'll be able to kind of get an idea of what are they doing, why are they doing it. You know, you seem like an analytical person. You could figure out why people are using certain moves in certain moments.
Oh,
so.
yeah, that was my job.
Yeah.
I had to do that, you know. Why did linebacker come, scrape the A-gap tighter on this play than the other play?
How do you pay attention to that for the next time?
It was detrimental to my health and my job, all at the same time. Because if it hit wrong, I might get knocked out or somebody else would get knocked out. Because playing the game of football, that's how things worked out for one another. So had to be totally conscious of that. So make sure, understanding the gameplay, now reverting back to Smash, knowing what damage you could deal and what moves and mechanics you got to learn along the way to get better at it makes you a better Smash player overall, basically.
Yeah, that's what these players also, for the most part, should be doing, especially after a loss at a big event like CEO, is to go back and watch your VOD. Why did I lose? What options did I use that I get punished for? Maybe you have a coach as well. A lot of people, have a coach or they have a friend that's willing to watch it with them if you can't afford a coach or you don't have one in your area. These are all tools that these players could and should be using to get these downloads.
Yeah, and that's 100%. You got to be always open-minded for help outside. You can't feel like you know everything. And that's where traditional sports and esports cross. Or it's the same. They're aligned to the same. Knowing that mindset. Being in football, I could not think I was going to run the ball and just win the game by myself.
Right.
I have started with 5 offensive linemen, a fullback, a quarterback, by the way, and wide receivers and tight ends blocking downfield. If I got on a big run, how you think I wasn't going to outrun everybody, especially when I got older.
Right.
I would get lucky every now and then. If everybody got blocked, then boom, I'd get to the end zone. But I knew everybody was out there doing their job. And so that's where you talked about, you're getting ready for an event like CEO or Codebreaker or Frosty Frosting's coming up in January. Make sure you get with your team of players.
Yes.
You either play in a group of players that you basically better each other, or you have a coach that has certain mechanics really down because they made that player at one point in time, and also maybe a content creator as well. When you have that, I say, support crew, then you have a better chance, when you start preparing. Well, I say, Kevin, probably a good time out from an event like this is like at least a month out. You start planning for it.
I think that if you have your bracket available to you, plan for a month out. But whenever they release the seeding for the tournament and you know who you're going to be playing, you can find out data about people, or at least about what character they play, and then prepare for that at least 2 weeks out usually.
Can copy and paste that gamer tag, hit Google.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Yep. That's it.
All right, we're into the match here.
Game 2.
Game 2. Wario won game 1.
That was that waiting right there, by the way. ThePied backed up, waited for Lipden to use the dash attack, and then was able to punish it successfully. Yep. Both of these players want to use that bait and punish playstyle of floating in and out, of jumping in and out. It's really about which one of them is going to be more patient.
Gotcha. So we got Lipden as Wario and ThePied as Jigglypuff. And there's the first stock away from Jigglypuff there on the big punch from Wario, from Lipden there.
We'll switch the I'm not sure if it's the names and the cameras at this point, because you are right. ThePied on the Jigglypuff and Lipden on the Wario.
Yep.
Lipden looks to be a game up as well in this best of 3, but turning the tides right back around is Pied having evened up the stocks, but still down some percentage.
Yeah, got that 68 up to 85 real fast. Losing the floats is like, you gotta anticipate the movements there. Oh wow! I don't think I've seen a recovery quite like that go underneath it. A few of them that know how to fly. I think Star Fox might have something like that, where he could go underneath a platform and still recover and make it safely back on.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of those characters, Wario could probably do it too with the bike. But any character that has one of those long moves or has a lot of jump ability, those are the ones that can go under.
For sure. For sure.
That up smash, though, did allow Lipden to take the stock off of Pied, and once again in the back seat and probably dead here. Yep. Up tilt into the waft combo.
Wow. Give him that butt. from Wario there. You got a belly and a butt. That's not fair. That can knock you out.
That was a quick 2-0, I believe, for Lipden. Again, that's something we'll make sure that the bracket reflects as we move on from that.
So quick backs there by Lipden over Pied with his Wario over the Jigglypuff, and a good match there. But again, we saw what I learned, more about Jigglypuff, that movement and trying to manipulate it right. And sometimes if you don't have it, obviously against a better player like we saw here, you don't have that mastered. Then you're going to get, knocked off that platform real fast because of the heavier one Wario that can deal a lot of damage instantly.
Very true. Very true, especially towards that last stock. After enough time has elapsed, the waft, which is the down B option, the fart, essentially, it charges up over time, and so it gets stronger the later in the game that you have it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and so it did wind up getting